What is up? How's it going? Welcome. BTC community, XRP community, DLT community, crypto community, Blue Crew, and all the communities out there. Guys, welcome to another late night DLT live stream. Good to have one with you guys. It's been a bit. Blyat Earth in the house. J-Roy Bulldoggin in the house. Miles P. Guys, appreciate the Blue Crew showing up. Thanks for the 7 likes already to start off this stream. You guys are amazing. Shout out to all of you, man. Good to be back on for another late night DLT live stream. We definitely got some news we'll be going over today. Appreciate you guys and your support to the channel. We're on the way to 3K subscribers. You guys are making it happen. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the short form content as well as the recent live streams we've been having. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of great information coming out about the regulation sector and department of this space, which we really care about. You guys know we like to keep our eyes on the prize. What's going on with the IMF? What's going on with the BIS? What's going on with the World Economic Forum? What's going on with the World Bank? All these institutions. What's the real money doing, right? Because funny thing is, you got some news today, like the one we're going to be going over today with Binance, for example. HSBC reportedly blocks credit card payments to Binance in the UK. Now, you would think this would have a very drastic effect on Binance, the token itself. But it's sitting here pretty at $334. God knows how much of a percentage it's been up in the past year. Yeah, about 1,357% over the past year in gains for Binance. But of course, HSBC reportedly blocks credit card payments to Binance, and you're having all these other, big institutions and central banks and regulators having a problem with Binance, but yet it doesn't get as much of a reaction as a exchange delisting, for example. Like you get XRP getting delisted off all these exchanges, or I don't know how many exchanges in total have delisted XRP, but man, you would think that affected the price, or at least the speculative sentiment towards XRP, along with the SEC lawsuit. But oh man, HSBC, we don't hear HSBC saying they're, not allowing payments to XRP or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? It's not like central banks are fighting against Ripple and XRP. It's really, SEC just needing regulatory clarity, and then exchanges that have delisted XRP. But that affects the price in some way, I believe, in the speculation of XRP. These delistings from these exchanges. But Binance is all groovy. It's at $300, probably going to go back up to $600, maybe go to $1,000. But this type of stuff is like, should be a warning of possibly what Binance being possibly one of those bad actors in this space. But you never know. Could also be making a breakthrough, and just requiring regulatory clarity itself. But we'll see. We got Fab in the house. What's up, Fab? Guys, thanks for the 13 likes and the 10 viewers. I got a friend in here that is paranoid of text because they don't want people to know who they are, but she wants you to talk about Harmony. Harmony 1, I like Harmony, but I'm not too big of a fan of the Binance Smart Chains or things connected to the Binance Smart Chain. I should open up to it more because it looks like if it does press through regulation in the same way Ripple and XRP is, BNB could be a very, very big crypto in the future, especially with how much adoption they've already gotten on an exchange of theirs. They also have the US sector, the Binance US sector. So BNB could just be going through some major FUD as well before going into even higher prices, maybe well into the thousands. We'll just have to wait and see what ends up happening with BNB. But I think it's just interesting that you don't really, when you hear regulators going after Ripple and XRP, it's like a really big deal. But when regulators are going over to Binance or going against Binance, it's like, no, people still buying Binance Smart Chain coins. No worries. Right, Binance UK, right. The infrastructure bill, FUD, they really going to regulate blockchain out of the USA. So yeah, let me give you guys a preview of the news we got for tonight. So we got HSBC reportedly blocks credit card payments to Binance in the UK. You got Gensler's preference for Bitcoin futures products is likely bad news for spot Bitcoin ETF. White House reportedly supports only minor changes to the crypto tax proposal. JP Morgan now offers clients access to 6 crypto funds, but only if they ask. And then, of course, we got some charts right here with Binance 334, circulating supply at, or total supply at 197. Remember they rolled back crypto when they had that Binance hack, that exchange hack? That was a crazy time, man. That turns out that was just a bunch of major FUD before Binance just shot up to triple digits in price. It seems like when something chaotic happens for Binance, the price ends up going in a different direction, right? Because remember Binance, guys? Jesus, dude. Look at how massive the gains were. We're talking in 2019, single digits, and then just straight up freaking moonshot. That must have been such a wild month. From February 5th on, it must have been a party every day during those few months for the people who were holding BNB and hoarding BNB. Like, that's a crazy rocket ship right there to be a part of. We'll see what the low for Binance coin is going to be. Yeah, we'll see, man. This could be the beginnings of a crash towards the downside, and you're talking about retesting maybe old tops, going as low as, you know, $40 or $50 before finding a real bottom. We'll see. It's hard to imagine $50 Binance chain with a 197 million supply, and I think they burn their BNB as well, so crazy stuff. But yeah, you got BTC trying to break past 40k again, trying to get back to 42k. It looks like that 42k range has been a major resistance like we've talked about, but at least we got this pivot rally. Whether you're taking profits or not, you know, it's up to you and what's going on with your trade strategy, right? By the way, I'm not a financial advisor, not a pro trader, and I'll never tell you what to do. Jay Broy, of course, my man, no worries. I wish I could tell her more about Harmony, man. I haven't done enough research into Harmony and the One token. But I just I'm taking a risk here though, right? I'm taking a big risk by kind of shutting myself off from Ethereum layer 2 solutions. I have an exception for one of them, which is like Render, but I've seen Render's connections to the Cosmos ecosystem as well. So maybe it could be one of those interoperable layer 2s. Maybe a lot of layer 2s on Ethereum could be interoperable with other blockchains. We'll see, but I really just like the Render's specific use case, and knowing that that company actually exists, actually has those board of advisors. I really like seeing what I'm seeing, you know, getting out of RNDR. Binance Chain, don't really have too many cryptos in that ecosystem that I can really think of. I own a little bit of one, just to speculate on one. I own a little bit of BNB, but it's all very tiny amount. It's not like I'm not going too deep in on Binance Smart Chain tokens, unfortunately, because I hear there's crazy gains being had in that ecosystem. Hopefully, I get some crazy gains being had out of the ADA ecosystem, XRP ecosystem, Atom ecosystem, Solana ecosystem. One of those ecosystems, hopefully, could give some fruits the same way that BNB and Ethereum's ecosystems have. But we'll just have to wait and see. That's for sure. XRP MasterCard Global ID uphold. Can't wait till it's in full effect. Yeah, I'm excited about that too, man. I'm excited about that too. We were looking through that earlier today. We did just get a preview into it, but I feel like since I already have, like, I just wish that they could maybe let you upgrade your current Uphold card, because, like, I already have an Uphold card, and now, like, I kind of want to get the XRP MasterCard, but I don't want to be, like, holding all these cards. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be just, like, you know, the purpose is, like, cashless and using, like, tap features on your cell phone. That's going to be the future, mostly. It's not going to be just this plastic credit card anymore. It's going to be your cell phone. And very soon, you won't even have to use your cell phone to make the payment. You'll just be the payment. But yeah, so I think the next step is just using your cell phone as like a payment vehicle, and then just tapping and going, right? Maybe biometric stuff to a small extent. So yeah, like the XRP MasterCard, I'm excited for Global ID and what they're doing with that. And the chances to earn XRP cash back. But remember, you got to spend money in order to make that cash back. So why not just spend the money on buying XRP? I think it's and hopefully they can upgrade the current Uphold card to do maybe a similar feature of what Global ID is doing, since they have a partnership and collaboration going on with Uphold. So that would be pretty cool that I could still get XRP percentage back for using the debit card, the just standard Uphold debit card. But I think Global ID is trying to make it specific to their platform, which makes sense. It's very Global ID, right? Global ID is trying to become, very focused in payments and identity, and they're doing what they're focused on. Eric Jenkins in the house, bringing the bullishness. What's up, Eric Jenkins? Guys, thanks to the 12 viewers. Appreciate everybody in here, each and every one of you. Bless up, Blue Crew. Bird Crew? What the hell's Bird Crew? Word up, XRP crazies. Ev Grimes in the house. Miles P, the infrastructure bill. FUD. Alright, let's jump into it, guys. Let's get into our first piece of news here. We got HSBC reportedly blocks credit card payments to Binance in the UK. British multinational bank HSBC is reportedly suspending credit card payments to cryptocurrency exchange Binance. The move follows a crackdown by the UK's Financial Conduct Authority, which recently said Binance is not allowed to launch regulated activities in the country without written approval. Turns out UK's Financial Conduct Authority, by the way, has a different stance on Ripple and XRP and what they're doing, right? Not anywhere close to what they are doing with Binance. Word of HSBC's suspension spread on Twitter, with the popular trader Crypto Whale posting a screenshot of a message that says he came from the banking giant. HSBC says that it's stopping credit card payments to Binance due to concerns about the possible risks. In the message, HSBC allegedly cites a warning on the regulatory status of Binance issued by the Financial Conduct Authority in June. We wanted to let you know we're stopping payments from our credit cards to Binance whenever possible. We've made this decision due to concerns about the possible risks to you. We take our duty as a responsible lender seriously and want to do everything we can do to protect you. We'll continue to monitor the situation and let you know if anything changes. The FCA has recently issued a warning to consumers on the regulatory status of Binance in the UK. This also explains some of the risks of investing in crypto assets should things go wrong. In early July, financial giant Barclays also announced it would be halting all credit and debit cards payments to Binance in order to protect its clients' money. Barclays' moves was followed by retail and commercial bank Santander UK, which said it would be blocking payments from customer accounts to Binance. We want to let you know that we'll be stopping payments from Santander accounts to Binance whenever possible. This follows the Financial Conduct Authority's recent warning to consumers and is to help protect you from fraud. For now, we won't be restricting payments from Binance into your accounts. Or no, we won't be restricting payments from Binance into your accounts. So, I don't know, guys. We're not hearing this from about other cryptos, right? Except for Binance, but yet somehow Binance is still sitting pretty well at 334, but it is on a downtrend. Maybe the downtrend continues for Binance because of this news. You never know, you guys. It did pump up in very short order to the price that it is today at 691. But you never know. This bullish momentum could continue. Maybe it's finding support off of previous resistance here before it made another leg up. So maybe this is just a lot of major FUD before Binance starts catapulting to $1,000, maybe 1,000 plus. We'll see. But at this point, I'm more cautious. I'd be very scared if I was a Binance investor. I'd be very scared being invested in any crypto that's only connected to Binance and the only ones that you can get on that exchange. Especially if you're having HSBC, Barclays, Santander already announcing, kind of cutting off payments from the exchange. So that can be, a ripple effect, if you will. You start seeing other banks that maybe aren't supporting it or blocking the payments from customer accounts to Binance. I'd just be very cautious if I was in Binance. It's still very interesting to me that this news really hasn't. You would think this news would have a stronger effect on the price of Binance, and maybe it's just because not a lot of people are aware or want to even acknowledge that this is going on. It's like a little denial that they just keep in the background. For some reason, like Binance in the crypto community is perceived very well compared to something like Ripple and XRP. But when you hear Ripple and XRP getting delisted from exchanges and stuff, it's like chaos, right? But HSBC delisting, or not delisting, but blocking credit card payments to Binance, I think that's a big deal. I think that's a big deal, and I think people, investors, will probably recognize that very soon when they start seeing maybe other entities starting to block off credit card payments to Binance. But we'll see. We'll see how it all rolls. It could be just some major FUD. Like to know what you guys think. Let's get the music back on. There we go. I think BNB should be $800, but it's staying at $300 because of FUD. You think it's staying at $300? So you think, because it didn't crash before. This is the thing. I don't think we've gotten a crash reaction for BNB. I think this crash that happened right here, when it went from 664 down to about 300 already, I think that was not from the FUD yet. I think that was just from, Bitcoin having crashed and gone down, right? Like basically all that Elon hype and the Dogecoin hype and all that stuff. And then when it started crashing down, that's when we started seeing Binance come down to 300. So you're saying, yeah, maybe that happened and brought it down to 300, but the FUD now is what's keeping Binance down. I could see that. I could see that. Be very interested to see where it goes from here, because in very short order, you guys, very short order, from the first month of the year and then just 5 months later, it went from $45 to $666. I mean, that is some crazy gains, right? Some crazy gains. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's more retracement to come. But if it does, then that maybe might possibly signal a bear market for Binance Coin at least. But we know if Bitcoin goes, everything's going to go. At least the way the market is today. It was following BTC down. Okay. I think it's just weird though, right? Like, you get news like that for Ripple and XRP getting delisted off exchanges, and it makes you react to the sentiment of XRP in a different way. But if you hear, like, God forbid, if you heard HSBC blocking anything that, any involvement with Ripple, denying any involvement with Ripple, not acknowledging that they would never intend to use XRP. Yeah, like, imagine the type of chaos that could probably stir in the crypto market. But HSBC blocking credit card payments to Binance, like, oh, that's no biggie. Let's still keep buying BNB. Let's still keep speculating on it, right? I'm interested to see what, like, these regulators are going to have their hands full trying to respond to this. Like, this is a massive wave of innovation, but, regulators could catch up in short order. We'll just have to see, but they got their hands full right now with, like, a lot of cryptos that we have no clue. Even as investors, we're just taking our best shot, right? We're just basing it off our own personal research, our own personal experiences. Whether you're a BTC person, Ethereum person, BNB person, ADA person, XRP, Doge, whatever, what have you. We're just trying to take our best shot on what's going to be that mass adopted crypto. And any of these could be bad actors. Any of these can be a bad actor. It would be very shocking, but at the same time, it would be like, well, that's what I was getting myself into. This is a crazy casino Wild West phase of digital assets, right? Spencer Blackburn in the house. What's up, man? I think without Binance bans, BNB would be more popular than Bitcoin. Really, Blyad Earth? All right. I hear you. Is BTC headed to 41K? Yeah, we could check out a chart before we get to the next piece of news. Guys, thanks for tuning into another DLT late night live stream. Appreciate the 18 likes and the 10 viewers tuning in. Hopefully it's not too late or too early wherever you are. Hope you guys are having an awesome day or night. All right, so looking at Bitcoin right here, and what we drew this out when we were calling for that the pivot towards the upside, right? Where we were saying we think we're closer to a low, it would pivot here at the golden retrace zone. This has proven to be an area of accumulation in history, so we were expecting a pivot towards the upside because, you know, we already had this trending line, so we were guessing right here, which we basically hit. Like this drawing we haven't looked at in a bit. That circle was from our last stream, right? So we basically did hit the top of the channel. Maybe we drew the circle a little earlier, but you know, we got to that 40k range. And now you're at the top of this channel, and what's it going to do? Is it going to cross over, confirm a higher low, and really start carrying some super bullish momentum, like fat green candles start coming out, taking it towards the upside? Or are you going to get, you know, have a little bit of a fake out right here, get rejected, and start coming back down towards the downside, breaking through former, you know, failing to treat former area of support or resistance as support, start coming down? So I can draw that out. You know, maybe something like this where you do break out, you're getting excited, create a higher high, but then major resistance happens right here, come back down, and now you'll have a decision. You either, you know, really break out towards the upside and really start carrying some parabolic momentum, or you start coming down to the downside and trying to bounce around here. But the possibility could be too, this weekend could get bloody, and maybe you start seeing it crumble down towards the downside, depending how low this will go. I could see it coming down to here if it's bullish, but if it's bearish, it'll probably start, you know, descending pretty bad over time, and you'll be coming down to oversold range, probably at around a 13k, 12.5k. We do have a long-term trending thing that it could hit, and that would signal a bearish trend for crypto or Bitcoin, I think, or a bear market. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wouldn't go lower from here. I think this would be your new bottom for Bitcoin at around 7,000. So we'll see what ends up happening for BTC. But right now, going towards 41k. Yeah, maybe you can maybe get a 41k, but you want to break past that, man. You want to get into the 44k range. You want to break this resistance that we keep hitting at around 42k. If we can break 42k, get to 44k, then it could give us some hope to get to 47, which would be some awesome gains, especially, you know, how the low cap cryptos could react. G Money in the house, man. G Money, I hope you made it in the cut, my man. Thanks for the $10 donation. Thanks for your support, as always, man. Yeah, guys, we just, you know, we love hanging out with the Blue Crew and having a good time, and then we just keep it business when we're talking crypto, talking about this news. Yeah, appreciate you guys, man. G Money, you're the man, dude. 7,000. Now we're talking Blight Earth. I mean, dude, that would really shake out a lot of weak hands. It would make people really think that this this bullish phase that we had earlier in the year was just a fad. And really, you know, crypto people are going to always be crypto people. They'll be around even if it crashes to 7K, and they'll say they'll be accumulating, that Bitcoin's created a new bottom, all this stuff. There'll always be like crypto people who stick around for sure if they saw, you know, BTC at 7K again, right? But if we're in the bull trend, if we're in the bullish market, man, we should be, there shouldn't be much more room to go before we start really breaking up towards the upside, right? Like, I could see a retracement where we hit the top here, go to 47K, close to 50K, like psychological barrier, and then, you know, selling pressure bringing you all the way back down into the 35K range, you know, 33K range or something like that. And then next thing you know, you start seeing the parabolic, you know, trend that hopefully BTC is in for a bullish, you know, bull market. I mean, as much as we want to see a utility bull market where, you know, things act independently of BTC, for now, the way the world is and the traditional financial system we're in, and this highly speculative market that only has pennies in it, it's going to most likely continue being ran, you know, going in the direction that Bitcoin ends up going. So if Bitcoin's going up in a big way, eventually it'll trickle down to those alts, and that's where really a lot of big money gets made. Yeah, 47K would be real nice, man. And that would be very ideal for us to hopefully have the hopes of continuing this cycle, my man. But anyways, let's get into the next piece of news. Let me get some water. Gensler's preference for Bitcoin futures products is likely bad news for a spot coin or spot Bitcoin ETF. The SEC chairman's comments this week are causing issuers to readjust their expectations for the approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Gary Gensler comments this week have some digital asset managers realizing that the excitement in the first half of the year for a true Bitcoin exchange traded fund ETF may have been premature. In remarks at the Aspen Security Forum on Tuesday, Gensler noted that he would be partial to ETFs based on Bitcoin futures traded on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. I think those comments are pretty clear that a pure spot Bitcoin ETF isn't coming soon and that futures products would probably potentially be considered. Chief Investment Officer from Valkyrie, which has filed an application with the SEC for a Bitcoin ETF. I think it's certainly going to direct our conversations and our product roadmap. While many in the crypto world suspect that Gensler would favor investment vehicles that include Bitcoin futures, this is the first time that Gensler confirmed his presence explicitly. ETF research analysis at Bloomberg Intelligence. Some industry participants have said that this could lead to a spate of applications that include Bitcoin futures on Thursday. For an ETF that would include exposures to futures, the Grayscale, Bitcoin Trust, and Canadian Bitcoin ETFs, the benefit of prioritizing Bitcoin futures over Bitcoin spot ETFs is unclear. It's a really bizarre world where you can launch a Bitcoin ETF in Canada, US, people can buy it through their brokerages, and you can create a US ETF that includes Canadian ETFs, but Bitcoin ETF isn't available in the US. Gensler may believe that an investment vehicle based on federally regulated Bitcoin futures may offer more regulatory cushion than one based on Bitcoin from spot exchanges that are regulated on a state-by-state basis. I don't really buy that because there's a definitive relationship between spot Bitcoin and the futures market, so no matter what you do here, there's going to be some overlap-related markets. I think the biggest thing here is that it's basically a delay. Bitcoin futures products would not only be more complex and costly to manage, but the market may not want them. Historically, institutions have flocked to close-end funds such as GBTC over trading Bitcoin futures on the CME. Bitcoin futures are growing, and they're growing at a healthy clip, but they still don't see anywhere near GBTC trading. We're talking about 25 billion in GBTC after drawdown and trading at a discount. I would argue that the future ETF is not as safe for retail investors, given the future doesn't always accurately track what's happening in the stock market. The benefit of the mutual fund is that if they get out of control or the size gets too big or whatever happens, you can also close a mutual fund, but you can't close an ETF. The SEC has 240 days after an issuer files a 19B4 to make a decision on the application. The first expiration of one of those regulatory windows is coming in November with VanEck's 19B4, and Seifert said he expects the SEC to reject VanEck's application and possibly other applications throughout the rest of the year and early 2022. Maybe perfect timing for the ISO 20022 transition at the end of 2022, but you never know. Managing futures is expensive and the margin requirements are extremely high at an exchange level like CME. You also have to roll the futures contracts every month, which incurs costs and adds volatility. Best of luck to this ETF. Who's coming out with it? The Chicago Mercantile or Exchange? No. Valkyrie, right? Best of luck to Valkyrie on their new spot Bitcoin ETF. Looks like Gensler's very stern, maybe to a point stubborn on his stance, but you never know. Maybe that VanEck ETF does get picked up. It's no guarantee. There's a reason, there's a deadline for a decision, and it's coming in November, and then it's likely 240 days after this Valkyrie one has been announced. So there's still hope for a Bitcoin ETF, but it's just looking like, man, it's a battle that you just keep throwing punches at. Keep throwing all these punches, and hopefully one of them eventually lands, but it looks like it may take longer. Looks like the SEC still got some gusta in and just keep declining the Bitcoin ETF. Unstoppable ETC network. I mean, ETC, Ethereum Classic's interesting for sure. Coca-Cola in the house. What's up, Coca-Cola? Guys, thanks for the 21 likes, the 11 viewers. What's up, y'all? What's up to the Blue Crew? Let's check out another crypto, and then we'll get to the next piece of news. So right here with XRP, it's interesting, because you might have a little bit of a cup and handle situation going on here. Right? And it's carrying some pretty good bullish momentum towards the upside. Our new high, hopefully, that we could create, if we are going to go create a new high, it's probably going to be around here. A window between, 79.80 cents to about 93 cents. I think that would be your new high for XRP if it does pivot up towards the upside. And that can really, you could probably touch $1 before hitting some major resistance. Just because people will be so bullish and they'll be like, oh man, XRP's moving again, right? They'll get excited once it breaks like the 80-cent barrier. So then FOMO will probably carry it up to $1. Right? The FOMO will carry it up over here to $1. And then get some selling pressure to test the previous resistance as a support. And then hopefully, with Bitcoin moving up as well, continuing its bull cycle, XRP will be following towards the upside. Or maybe finally a utility bull run starts coming in, regulatory clarity starts coming in, and who knows what the price for XRP could be then. But I'm really liking this trend so far, you guys, especially if we're hoping, I'll just clear out all these charts, right? So we try to look for patterns in the past, right, to see if they might be possibly getting reflected currently in what we're seeing, right? So I feel like we're, in terms of this area here, I feel like that's happening here. I feel like for some reason, or this whole area, actually, that's what I mean to say. This whole area, let me clear it out again. I know I draw like a freaking, football playbook or something, but this whole area reminds me like a smaller version of what we're seeing or gonna see here, right? You get a burst up towards the upside, you get a little bit of a stop, and then another burst towards the upside, and then that's when you hit your selling pressure. You come back down, get a little bit of relief, come back down, get a little relief, then major crash down. Then start picking up for the bullish trend, right? So let's go step by step. Here's our 1, right? Here's our 1, here's our 2, here's our 2. Both kind of same motions, right? Then you had a major dip towards the downside right here, number 3. Bam. There's our step 3, right? Then you had a relief pivot towards the upside, got your relief pivot, had a lower relief pivot, lower relief pivot, breaks down towards the downside, breaks down towards the downside right here, right? Probably include this one right here as this whole motion, right? Remember, this is like a microcosm of this one being a like kind of bigger version of what's going on. So as you curve out right here, I think we're right here at this point right now. I think we're at what this point is, I think is right here. So I think you're going to see something. Maybe there's going to be some catalyst or some news that ends up driving like this. And then next thing you know, you get your new high. You go to $1 right here at $1. Probably get some FOMO that comes in, wicks it down, get some selling pressure, picks back up, right? Starts curving up, curves down, get some more sideways action, establish a new level, and then, we're talking going into 2022, possibly seeing that motion play out, the continuation towards the upside, right? I think we're at this step right now so far. What this is right here, I think is at this point. So we may get some retracement just for a shorter time, and then eventually start seeing our gun up, possibly in September. I think September would probably be the one. Oh yeah, let's do some Dragon Chain, man. Shout out to anybody in the Dragon Chain community. One of the more undervalued cryptos out there, for sure. Calling the pivot, at the bottom right there. We found the bottom, this trend line. We're going to see what can happen now, because you do have a swell journey that it could take. I think your first resistance would probably be around here. If it were to break towards the upside, I think you would hit resistance here, come back down, accumulate, come back up, and then you're going to test the top of this channel. And really, you know, if we can cross over to the other side of this channel, then you can come back down, test the former area of resistance as support, and then really start making some really big highs. We're talking about a 50 cent, probably 50 cent plus price for Dragon Chain coming soon. Yeah, close to 50 cents, 46 cents. I think the FOMO can take you up into 50 cents. But that's some tremendous gains that could be had, man. Considering how severe that drop was for Dragon Chain. And if it goes lower, I think the ultimate bottom will be at around 5 cents for Dragon Chain. But that could be crazy if we see, like right here, you know, happy that we knew we were closer to a bottom, but that is the sweet spot right there, man. It was at 8 cents. Getting that pivot, relief pivot. Hopefully we get more of a relief pivot towards the upside, make some good gains. You know, it could still break down towards the downside, right? Could come down here and then really find the true low at 5 cents before pivoting up towards the top of the thing. And maybe we're in a bear market if it's at that point, because most likely Bitcoin will be at its bottom trend point too. So we'll see. All right, let's jump to the White House news here. So breaking, White House reportedly supports only minor changes to crypto tax proposal. The crypto community is rallying against an amendment to the U.S. infrastructure plan that would maintain strict reporting requirements for developers and validators while exempting miners. The crypto community is pushing back against amendments to crypto provisions of the White House's infrastructure plan, which seeks to raise $28 billion for infrastructure funding through expanded taxation on crypto transactions and impose new reporting requirements for crypto brokers. On August 6, Senator Mark Warner and Rob Portman proposed a last-minute amendment to the infrastructure deal to exclude proof of mining and sellers of hardware and software wallets from the bill. However, the amendment's wording suggests crypto developers and proof-of-stake validators will still be subject to expanded reporting and taxation that some have described as unworkable. Late briefing, White House is coming out formally in support of Warner, Portman, and Cinema crypto amendment, implicitly against the Toomey Wyden Loomis plan. If accurate, that means the White House isn't supporting a rival amendment proposed by Senator Cynthia Loomis that provided a much broader list of exemptions, including for any entity validating distributed ledger transactions, entities developing digital assets, or their corresponding protocols, as well as miners. By clarifying the definition of broker, our amendment will ensure non-financial intermediaries like miners, network validators, and other service providers are not subject to the reporting requirements specified in the bipartisan infrastructure package. Senator Executive Director Jerry Brito slammed Warner and Portman's much more limited amendment as disastrous, accusing Congress of picking winners and losers. The minimal amendment has received widespread condemnation from the crypto community, with many onlookers emphasizing that proof-of-work networks and software developers will be caught by the new legislation. A petition demanding citizens push back against the amendment has already gone live on thefightforthefuture.org, with the page slamming the law for dramatically expanding financial surveillance and harming innovation. On August 2nd, the Electronic Frontier Foundation published an article criticizing the amendment for including developers who do not control digital assets on behalf of users in its scope. The mandate to collect names, addresses, and transactions of customers means almost every company, even tangentially related to cryptocurrency, may suddenly be forced to surveil their users. And that's what people are really worried about, right? Is this big government watching everything they're doing. Everything would be traceable and monitored. But I think they're going to go through with it. I'm not sure in terms of this crypto tax proposal, but I think anyways with the transition over to ISO 20022, everything is going to be traceable no matter what. And it's kind of contradictory of crypto people who want everything on a public blockchain, but then at the same time don't want to be seen by everything, right? So, and then you could say, well, there's things like Monero. Well, yeah, Monero enables things on it enables a private transaction, which could be traced because there is a public blockchain that backs Monero, right? So if you do need access to where that transaction came from, you could trace it. And same thing, and I'm not trying to speak FUD on XMR. You can prove me, you can tell me I'm wrong and correct me on XMR. I am an XMR person. I do mine XMR, so I do like XMR. I'm just saying, from what I understand, at their blockchain level, it is a public blockchain. Of course, the transactions are private and encrypted, but from what I hear, CipherTrace has found a way to trace Monero transactions, and also, they do have a public it is a public blockchain, so anybody can see the transactions that are happening on that blockchain, even if it is not, the specific transaction is covering the identity or covering for the privacy of the transaction. Whereas you have something like Secret Network, where even at the blockchain level, it's it's like your permission to make it public, right? To make information about that transaction public or not. Guys, appreciate the 9 viewers tuning in. So yeah, seeing things like this with the crypto tax proposal, looking forward to understanding more about it. Really, I'm not sure if I understand the real implications of this, but maybe you guys can educate me more on what this could possibly mean. But from what I'm understanding, it's just, it's related to, certain brokers that would have to be way more transparent with the government, and allowing for taxation of proof of stake validators would be insane, right? That would just be a lot of work on just both ends and could be really catastrophic for the crypto space. Alright, let's jump over to the JP Morgan news here. Yeah, things are kind of weird. I've even noticed that the SEC wants to put rules on DeFi, but the whole thing about DeFi is that it's supposed to be decentralized. But also the thing about DeFi is that, well, the first thing to accept in crypto in general is there is no true decentralization. There will always be some form of centralization. No matter what, there will always be some form of it. So just understanding decentralization is like striving for perfection. You could get very decentralized, but you'll never be ultimately decentralized, right? And then another thing, DeFi, a majority of DeFi, which is being made on Ethereum and Binance, is being run on centralized cloud providers. The nodes are being stored on centralized cloud providers. So if they have a policy change, they can stop that decentralization. It's not truly decentralized finance if it can be stopped. So it makes things like these decentralized cloud providers, like Akash, like a Siacoin, like a Filecoin, like a StoreX coin from Zinfin, very appealing, because then you're finding a way out for, things like Ethereum, platforms like Ethereum, to maybe migrate over to decentralized cloud infrastructures. So then even if there is a policy change, can't stop it because it's on a truly decentralized cloud provider. So yeah, DeFi's an interesting thing. Remember, guys, you're already hearing some really big YouTubers and people who are saying DeFi is going to replace the banks. It's going to replace this. Maybe some certain level of DeFi is, but the DeFi that we know today, I think, is going to dramatically shift in the future. I think DeFi, it's just like kind of cooled the jets on DeFi. Like, it just started really getting big in the past few to a couple of years. We'll see how it evolves. I'm not saying DeFi is going to die, you guys. I'm not saying it's going to die. I'm just saying cool the jets on seeing how this is going to evolve down the line. Because so far right now, DeFi really isn't truly decentralized. We get the illusion of decentralization because we're able to make trades and trade these coins and stuff like that, but we really don't know like too much about the underlying tech because we're just trying to make money, right? We're just trying to make trades with these certain type of coins that we have. Whether, you know, the projects because we don't know, we can only know so much. So maybe the projects we're doing these things with are scams and frauds and bad actors. We don't know, right? So it's just a very interesting space right now where there's just a lot of heavy speculation on trying to figure out what's going to be the thing that really makes, you know, crypto pop into mass adoption, right? DeFi has a good chance though. DeFi has a good chance, but I'm not going to say banks are going away because of DeFi. You know, there's people already going like, you know, DeFi's been out for like 2 months. Oh, banks are going to go away forever. It's like, whoa, okay, calm down. Or do we like? Maybe you're just like super confident that's going to happen, and I respect that. Seems like the FUD is not working like before. Yeah, which is a good sign for bullishness, that's for sure. It's a good sign for bullish momentum. But hey, I mean, the FUD did work though, right? The FUD did work enough to crash. Like, I don't want to use Dragon Chain as the example, but Bitcoin. The FUD did work for Bitcoin so far. We don't know if it's going to continue the bullish momentum, but so far the whatever FUD brought down the price from 64,000 down to around 30K. That FUD worked, right? Now the FUD doesn't seem like it's working because we're just getting a relief pivot towards the upside, right? But you know, the moment, let's say we get rejected right here. I'm not going to say we are going to, but let's say we get rejected right here, create a double top, and start working all our way down towards 15K. Then are we going to be saying, I think the FUD isn't working like it is? Even though you're at a deep retracement point at a 78.6 where you can still pivot. Like, think about how much sentiment in the market would just be totally like, you know, people would just be crumbling, right? A lot of newbie investors would hate it for sure. But, you know, 20K BTC, you know, that FUD might have worked then. The FUD definitely works if it's taking you down from 65K to 20K. You know, there's people who jumped in at Bitcoin at 65K here. I'm not saying I did or anything like that because I don't really own much exposure to Bitcoin in general. But, you know, people who jumped in, newbies who came into the space chasing the pump, you know, got wrecked, and it comes down to 30K, 20K. And, you know, they're going to hold on for dear life now for sure, no matter what, because they want to get past at least what they initially invested at 64K, right? So they'll make all these, like, you know, emotional reasons of why they should continue holding on to BTC. And hopefully they can, like, you know, this is one of the things that maybe is reestablishing their confidence that's going to go back up to 65K. But the next thing you know, gets rejected, comes down to 20K, and they're like feeling, you know, super down in the dumps, and then they decide to sell at a loss there because they think, oh, the phase is over, right? Newbie mistake, right? I think there's still a lot of newbie mistakes to be made. We have to see how we come around here. If we can break out of this channel right here, if we can break out towards the upside, that gives me some hope, right? If we can start going to the 47K, 50K range very soon, that gives me some hope. Ethereum's switching to proof of stake, and good luck with it. Hopefully, we'll see. Ethereum's connected to a lot of major institutions as well, so I'm very interested to see if these institutions know about the capabilities of Ethereum 2, and maybe that's the reason why they're building on top of Ethereum. Maybe Ethereum 2 is going to be the shit. Who knows? It already has a tremendous amount of exposure, that's for sure, and a good amount of liquidity. I wouldn't say it's like, you know, over the top amazing liquidity, but definitely has a good amount of exposure. All right, let's get into the last piece of news here. We got JP Morgan now offers clients access to 6 crypto funds, but only if they ask. JP Morgan now offers access to 6 different crypto funds from Grayscale, Osprey Funds, and NYDIG. JP Morgan Chase quietly opened up access to 6 crypto funds over the past 3 weeks as it looks to offer crypto exposure to a variety of clients. In the latest move, the bank's private calls will now have access to new Bitcoin fund created by the crypto investment firm New York Digital Investment Group, NYDIG. It is owned by Stone Ridge Asset Management, and the Stone Ridge Bitcoin Strategy Fund offers exposure to Bitcoin via futures markets. The NYDIG fund is in addition to 5 crypto funds that the bank opened access to last month: Grayscale Investments, Bitcoin Cash Trust, Ethereum Classic Trust, as well as the Osprey Bitcoin Trust. While the traditional financial institution has taken a big leap by offering crypto exposure via 6 different funds, it is reportedly taking a cautious approach to how it offers its new digital asset services. According to unnamed sources quoted by Business Insider, JP Morgan advisors are not allowed to overtly promote the crypto funds and can only conduct the transactions upon the client's request. The Grayscale and Osprey funds are open to all users and its various wealth management platforms, including its self-directed Chase trading app, while the NYDIG fund is only open to private banking clients. The investment banking giant has a complicated history with cryptocurrency after CEO Jamie Dimon described Bitcoin as a fraud. Back in 2017, analysts of Goldman Sachs appear to be working through some of those same issues, despite the firm actively working to offer exposure to the sector. In June, Jeff Curry, the global head of commodities research at Goldman Sachs, described Bitcoin as a risk-on asset similar to copper. In the same month, analysts from the bank released a crypto report which concluded that Bitcoin is not a long-term store of value and an investable asset class. Goldman Sachs reportedly provides crypto services through a derivatives trading desk and a Bitcoin futures trading platform that was rolled out last month. The firm has also filed for a sort of DeFi-based ETF in late July. So right there, hearing from another institution, you guys. Remember, we just heard from Augustus Carson's from the Bank of International Settlements. So obviously, the organization that's representing central banks saying they don't see Bitcoin, as a long-term store of value or an investable asset class, and it's an ecological disaster. You're hearing here from Goldman Sachs, Bitcoin's not a long-term store of value or an investable asset class, right? So, and we've heard things from Jamie Dimon saying this as well. So we hear about these banks, we hear about JP Morgan, we hear about Goldman Sachs and what they're doing, and it's like they're getting involved in crypto but then not getting involved in crypto. So what I'm thinking is they're getting involved with, maybe not necessarily crypto, but digital assets, right? And what are the ones that we know early on have been classifying themselves as digital assets, right? Things like XRP, things like XLM, right? Maybe these type of cryptos are what these funds are really trying to set up for, right? Because we heard even from Augustus that, Bitcoin is an ecological disaster and, it's not a store of value and it's a terrible payment vehicle. But the underlying technology is where it's wonderful and that they think should be implemented, right? And we've even heard Ripple CEO saying that Bitcoin's great, but it's really about the underlying technology, right? We just keep hearing it's about this underlying technology, not Bitcoin, right? So of course it could be major FUD, right? This could be just another step of major FUD on the way of Bitcoin mass adoption, right? BTC Maxi's just laughing at every time people keep saying Bitcoin isn't a store of value. It isn't a good payments vehicle. It's an ecological disaster. They laugh at that. They just keep hodling, keep accumulating, and moving on. More power to them. But I think there's just, I'm not saying I'm buying the FUD. I think this is just stuff that should be considered, though. If you keep hearing the similar narrative, the similar script, but yes, I understand. Bitcoin just keeps going up and up. It doesn't care, right? So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think we should take the words from these people more seriously, or are they just flip-floppers? Are they just going to keep flipping back and forth? Are they going to eventually say Bitcoin is the way? It's the best investment vehicle there is. It's a store of value. But of course, when they say that, it's going to probably be too late to be invested in Bitcoin. But I always find it interesting that they say it's the underlying technology of Bitcoin that's where the value is at, right? Because they do like distributed ledger technology. They do like blockchain. Or maybe not necessarily blockchain, but distributed ledger technology, right? They try to make differences between these things. Digital assets versus crypto, right? So interested to hear what you guys think. And, you know, is this just major FUD in general for Bitcoin, but maybe not major FUD for other assets? Guys, thanks for the 12 viewers and the 23 likes on this late night DLT live stream. Always good hanging out with the Blue Crew, the Night Owls. Appreciate your support as always, guys. Oh my god, did Gregor Suri just say our line? I mean, I understand people like saying future is bright, so. But future is bright for Sentinel Co. Yeah, gotta love DVPN, that's for sure. DVPN's gonna be doing some really good things. Excited for that project and that Cosmos ecosystem. Always good seeing things from Greg Asuri, the CEO of Akash Network. So I put up a poll just saying, is the SEC lawsuit just a show and delay until central banks are ready to unleash this liquidity giant? So far, a majority of people saying yes. That's good to know. It's good to know people out there. 84% of people out there are thinking so. 15% though thinking Ripple will lose. That's an interesting thing to keep track of for sure. And once again, federated sidechains for the XRP ledger. So let's look into this article and then we'll be wrapping it up. But I definitely want to get through this for sure because I'm sure there's some good breadcrumbs. So, a vision for federated sidechains on the XRP ledger. Over the last 9 years, the XRP community has been committed to advancing the innovation and forward progress of the XRP ledger to dramatically increase its decentralization performance and feature set. Among the most requested features we have heard from developers and contributors to XRP Ledger is smart contract capabilities brought about by the exponential growth in decentralized finance. In fact, the number of DeFi developers has grown 110% since 2019, and that number is projected to grow well beyond 2021. However, we at Ripple have long advocated against features that would compromise the XRP Ledger's highly efficient focus on payments. Today, we are proposing a strategy that enables best of both worlds, federated sidechains for the XRP Ledger. This will enable developers to implement new features such as native smart contracts that interoperate seamlessly with XRP and the XRP Ledger, while also allowing the XRP Ledger to maintain its existing lean and efficient feature set. Federated sidechains allow for experimentation and specialization, so developers can enjoy the power of the XRPL on a sidechain that acts as its own blockchain. For example, imagine the potential to branch out into new functionality by slimming down the XRPL's features to a specific subset for a particular use case, or even creating a private parallel network for a permissioned blockchain. Federated sidechains could very well make this a reality. So once again, just reading this, for example, imagine the potential to branch out into new functionalities by slimming down the XRPL's features to a specific subset for a particular use case, or even creating a private parallel network for permissioned blockchain. Definitely have thought this out and definitely look like they're intending to use it for those type of use cases. To create a private parallel network for permissioned blockchain, right? Maybe other use cases that they're looking to build on top of that. This is why the XRP Ledger and XRP is so fantastic. Just being focused on being a good payment vehicle, a good digital asset for freaking payments. Reliable, fast, very cheap, and efficient, and looking to hopefully be very secure, as it's been running for a very long time consistently already. And hopefully it can be running for a very long time as well. So how it works: in order to understand the vision for federated sidechains, it is first important to define a federator, a piece of software that connects to at least two instances of the XRPL software. The federator software means anyone who wanted to could run a sidechain to the XRP Ledger. On one side, the federator is connected to the XRP Ledger mainnet. On the other side, it connects to one or more sidechains. The federator would be run only by parties who operate validators on at least one sidechain. The vision is that each sidechain would function as its own blockchain. They'd have their own ledger and transactions, just as the XRP ledger does. What makes them sidechains is the federation system, which allows XRP and issued tokens to move from one chain to another. Federated sidechains could use XRP as their primary asset. In that case, people could use the federated system to move XRP from XRPL to the sidechain. Then the moved XRP could be used on the sidechain just as it is used on the main chain. Anyone could move XRP from either chain to the other. Alternatively, sidechains could use their own native assets, so people with accounts on both ledgers can move XRP to and from the issued asset on the sidechain. Functionality: federated assets imported onto the XRPL itself would trade on the XRPL's integrated decentralized exchange. XRP imported onto sidechains would be used for liquidity on their integrated DEX as well. The strategy requires three things: building a new piece of software or the federator, making two trivial changes to the operation of the live XRP ledger network, adding a new features to the XRPL server software to allow it to operate in a sidechain. However, these features would not be enabled on the XRPL itself. The current recommendation is to fork the XRPL software so that new versions of the sidechain software could come out without having to make new versions of the XRPL software to reduce the risk of harming the XRPL. Each sidechain would have a trust account on the XRP ledger mainnet. Give me a second. Woo, got a bad scratch in my throat there. Speaking so much. So each sidechain would have a trust account on the XRPL mainnet. This account can hold assets on the XRPL on behalf of users of the sidechain. The account would use a multi-sign or threshold key, with signers being the validators of the sidechain. Each sidechain validator operator registers a signing key that signs the transactions on XRPL. Thus, the validators of the sidechain can collectively create transactions to manage the sidechain's mainnet account. XRP Ledger mainnet has one native asset, XRP, an unlimited number of issued tokens that can represent anything else but don't have the same status as XRP. It wouldn't make sense to each sidechain to start with a whole new set of 100 billion XRP, so instead sidechains have two options for their native asset: either have a new native asset for the sidechain or set aside some real XRP for the use of the sidechain. If the sidechain uses XRP as the native asset, the chain's account on the mainnet holds the sidechain's total amount of XRP in a trust for use in the sidechain. If the sidechain creates a different native asset, the asset can be issued on XRPL mainnet by the sidechain's mainnet account. The sidechain can hold other assets and tokens issued natively on the XRPL mainnet account. Advantages: with this software, anyone can choose to run a sidechain to the XRP ledger. For developers, it unlocks new use cases like native DeFi capabilities and smart contracts. Developers can also build and launch blockchain features that are baked into these sidechains in the future. Successful features could even be ported to the XRPL mainnet. The developers managing a sidechain also have the freedom to decide how their chains work. They would choose their own validators for their sidechain and could change the system's rules as they need. For example, a sidechain could operate without transaction fees or reserve requirements. It could operate without its own copy of the XRPL's decentralized exchange, or it could add new transaction types and functionality to storing large chunks of data on the ledger. Guys, get ready for some storage capabilities or storage blockchains coming to, federated sidechains on the XRPL. The possibilities are limitless. A sidechain can be strictly permissioned or nearly permissionless, centralized or mostly decentralized. You could even run a sidechain temporarily while letting it manage real value and gracefully shut it down after it has served its purpose. Immediate advantages of federated sidechains for developers includes horizontal scaling, low risk, low effort, long roadmap, changes to the XRP ledger. The XRP ledger mainnet could also use a flag to indicate whether an issued asset was permitted to federate or not. Some asset issuers, for example, might insist that all holders of their assets be directly represented on the main chain for regulatory purposes, while others could allow their assets to freely trade on side chains. Sidechains would have a special entry in their ledgers that tracks the last sidechain transaction that has been executed on the main chain and the last main chain transaction that has been executed on the sidechain. The outline strategy is starting to point to gather feedback from the XRP Ledger community. We invite developers and contributors to the development community page. But guys, I'm so excited for this implementation because just once again, adding XRP as the bridge now to possibly a whole plethora of sidechains that eventually their capabilities, if they, turn out to be very successful, maybe could even migrate over to the XRPL mainnet. But hell, maybe even these sidechains are using XRP as their native asset for those specific use cases. It's just really, like they said, the possibilities are limitless. This is such great news to be coming out for the XRPL, and just once again educating people on what is XRP and it being a digital asset that is just really damn good for payments, and you can do a bunch of other things around that, right? Really efficient, really cheap, really secure. People underestimate the security aspect of it, that is for sure. XRPL has been doing a tremendous job at that so far. You never know with tech and what happens in the future, but so far XRPL has been doing some really impressive stuff and just very clear focus on payments and being able to facilitate payments, whether it's side chains, main blockchains, legacy systems. It's going to be a very exciting future without a doubt for XRP and the future of XRP Ledger, now with the introduction of federated side chains. Everyone needs a side piece, though. Side chain. Bitcoin pumping, attract all? Really? Let me check it out, man. Okay, so far so good. In the past hour, so far so good. Good volume for sure. But we needed to break 42K, my man. We needed to break 42K. That is really where it's at right now. So let's zoom in on Bitcoin. Let's see where it's at on the 4 hour here, my dude. Okay, so yeah, so far some pretty good buying pressure. I'm liking the newer highs, higher lows so far that we've been getting right here. Looks like we got a trend line towards the upside right here. One thing that worries me though is that we could be hitting resistance here and possibly be working our way down back down to 36K, which could be pretty bad, right? We do have a chance to go to the top of the channel here, which would take us to 50K. I certainly hope so. We were just talking about this earlier. But for right now, like as BTC pumping, I mean, I'm going to have to, unfortunately, I got to end the stream, so I won't be able to experience this if it does pump towards the upside. But I certainly hope it does, because then that means we're going to be, if we break past this 42K barrier, start going to 43, could be a good chance we're going to be shooting up to 50K, or at least this new resistance at around 47K. I'm excited to see it, though, for sure. But attract all. Here's a wrench, my man. With the wrench comes great responsibility. Please use it wisely. Thanks for joining the channel. Guys, thanks to any new subs to the channel. Thanks for all of y'all watching on another late night DLT live stream. Appreciate the Blue Crew. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Much love. Thank you. BTC community, XRP community, DLT community, crypto community, Blue Crew, and all the communities out there. The future is distributed ledger technology, and the future is bright. Our future is bright. See you in the next one, Blue Crew. Much love. Adios. This one's for you, Legendary. Peace out, man.
It sound right, boy. Sound right, boy. It sound right.